what's going on, YouTubers? It's Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to Impact Wrestling Review, the show from October 4th, 2019. They're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Your commentators were Josh Matthews and Don Callis. And let's just get to the show, folks, because first of all, I just want to say I apologize for not being able to give you this review ahead of time. That was my fault. So wasn't obligated to and also I always keep forgetting too, so basically I apologize for that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be doing back-to-back reviews for Rotation Impact Wrestling. That way I could get this one done, and then I could get the other one as well, the one that I just watch. So let me get to the previous one, and then I'll get to the recent one. So first of all, with the previous one. So here we go. The opening match was Madison Rayne versus Kiera Hogan versus Tennille Dashwood. Match itself was decent. I was worried that Kiera Hogan was going to take the pinfall here in this three-way match, because Tennille Dashwood is building up to face Taya Valkyrie at Bound for Glory for the Impact Knockouts Championship. But I was wrong. Now, here's the thing. Tennille Dashwood did win, but she pinned Madison Rayne. Good. But yeah, the match itself was decent. All three women did a good job in the match. We saw Johnny Swinger backstage pumping up. He passes someone. He throws a lady. Spanked that lady in the ass. Again, assuming that was a lady. He walks off. Camera zooms in, and it was Jimmy Jacobs. So basically, Johnny Swinger just spanked Jimmy Jacobs, and he didn't even know that he spanked a guy. We see Eddie Edwards talking to Tommy Dreamer that he needs help. Basically, Tommy Dreamer says, "You do need help because you have drinking problems and all that." And then he says that he was drugged by real scum. So Tommy Dreamer asks, how does he know if it was them and who did who did it and everything. And then he says the TV told him, basically Eddie Edwards said that the TV told him that it was them. So Tommy Dreamer doesn't realize that. So basically Eddie Edwards was talking to Kenny instead. He was talking to Kenny the entire time instead of Tommy Dreamer, because Tommy Dreamer extends his hand for a handshake, and then Eddie Edwards goes to reach out. Out there he's going to go for a handshake, but he reaches out for Kenny, and he says, "Oh, hi, Tommy Dreamer," and then walks off. Stupid. And I'll get to later on what pertains to why this was stupid. Johnny Swinger beats someone named Owen Traverso. Yeah, Johnny Swinger, trash. We guess Lauren, who interviews the North, asks how they're feeling about having to defend their tag titles in the three-way match at Bound for Glory, where retains to go up against William Mack and Rich Swann, and against Rob Van Dam and Rhino. And basically they were talking off the guard. I mean, they were taking off guard basically with the question, and they aren't too pleased that they'll be had to defend the titles against two teams, and they blame one person, and we'll get to that later. Lauren interviews later on Tessa Blanchard, asks if she is surprised what Sami Callihan did last week to Melissa Santos, and she said no, she isn't. He isn't surprised. No, she isn't surprised. Excuse me, because he's too dangerous, and she says that she is a man on. She is on a mission. Excuse me, and each one of OVEs are targets of hers. That's on their backs. So she's targeting OVE, every last one of them. So we get to the Impact moment of the week. Impact moment plus of the week. The Impact plus moment of the week. Excuse me. Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode from Bound for Glory 2013. And we got more back to back. I'm sorry. I screwed up there. My fault. Scratch that. Scratch that. All right. Next. Okay. Now we get to something that was stupid. We get Reno Scum versus Eddie Edwards and Kenny. The Candlestick. Meanwhile, Alicia Edwards is backstage. Ace Austin finds her, asks if she's doing okay, and blah 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 blah. Then the match happens, and blah 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 blah. Eddie Edwards and Kenny the Candlestick wins. Kenny the Candlestick gets TV time on Impact Wrestling, but Killer Kross can't. Hey, Impact Wrestling, this is for you. Fuck you. And for Killer Kross, let me do it with the X symbol. Fuck you. We go backstage and we see the North walk in out of the hallway, and they go into the room where they meet up with Conan. And basically, the one person they blame was Conan. Conan takes he gets off the couch, he starts drinking a shot of tequila. The door closes, and take a guess what happened there. So we come back from commercial break. Several people are checking out on Conan, who got beaten down by, the North. Rich Swann makes his way into the room, shouts at everyone, somebody helping or whatever. So yeah. OVE, they make their way to the ring because Sami Callihan needs to make a public apology about what he did to Melissa Santos, what pertains to the ruining the wedding reception. Brian Cage shows up. He goes after Callihan, but OVE is also gets in harm's way as he takes them out. So Brian Cage tries to go after Sami Callihan, who ran over the barricade. A fan, in a horrible acting way, because that fan was a plant, by the way, did this to Brian Cage. Basically touching Brian Cage. And I see myself, it would have been more believable if he just went like this. But instead he went like this. So Brian Cage attacks him, and he didn't realize that a fan attacked him. He thought it was someone from OVE. Scott Demoy comes out with some referees, and then we get some officers coming out of nowhere because apparently they so happened there, from far away. They arrested Brian Cage. Yeah. Meanwhile, during the break, the Golden Draw, the X Division champion Jake Crist of OVE, joins along with Don Callis and Josh Matthews on commentary, because next match was a qualifying match to the X Division ladder match that's got bound for glory. So far, we got who's ready to qualify, because he's a champion. Jake Crist, excuse me, Tessa Blanchard. Now what we need now is either Daiga or the guy who looks like Kofi Kingston, but a better built and more manlier than Kofi Kingston. His name is Chris Bay. So yeah, Chris Bay, he's pretty good, pretty damn good. Had the same like dreadlocks hair like Kofi Kingston, except his blonde, gold or whatever, platinum. But yeah, he's pretty good. I like him. But yeah, obviously I knew who was going to win this match, and obviously it was Daiga. Daiga wins the match to advance. So now we got Jake Crist, Tessa Blanchard, Daiga, and now we need is two more to fill in that spot. But I'll get to that when I get to the recent Impact Wrestling review. But yeah, it was a good match though. Very good match. Jay Chris gets into the ring, holds up the belt, and Jay Chris goes to sneak attack on Dagger from behind. For a 2-on-1 beatdown. Tessa Blanchard comes out to come to the aid of Dagger. By the way, Dagger and Tessa Blanchard are a couple. In case anyone didn't know that. So yeah, real life couples. Yeah, look it up. Google it. We see TJP ready for his match against Michael Elgin. Meanwhile, Falaba is there with him. Chance to get ready to have that main event match. We see Sami Callihan and Madman Fulton outside waiting for the Chris brothers. They finally arrive, and basically they talk basically the Chris brothers did not want to talk about what happened, why they were late and all that. Basically, and we don't know why, because they got beat up by a woman in Tessa Blanchard. Earlier in the day, Josh Matthews held a press conference and he was terrible at it. Basically, he spoke with the press, the NFL legends, Scott Demoy, what pertains to Bound for Glory match between Moose versus Ken Shamrock. And there was an altercation between Ken Shamrock and Moose during the press conference, and there you go. We got Father James Mitchell is talking to Jessica Havoc, saying that he warned her to stay away from Su Yung. He says that she needs to start showing remorse. And also, Ty Valkyrie shows up, interrupts. She says that she will help Havoc if she can help her, to take out Tina Dashwood. That way, she wanted to defend her Knockouts Championship title at Bound for Glory. But then Havoc decides to scare her away. All that, and also, Father James Mitchell mentioned something about he's not going to be happy. Because he kept saying this, he ain't gonna be happy. Jessica Havoc, basically telling Father James Mitchell is telling Jessica Havoc that he isn't gonna be happy. And I think to myself, I wonder who it could be. Could it be maybe Killer Cross? I don't know. I would love to be Killer Cross, but I don't know who he has in mind. But it's building up to something for Bound for Glory. But we'll see how that turns out. But there you go. But yeah, but Jessica Havoc is gonna get her title shot against Ty Valkyrie, which it was a recent episode of Impact Wrestling. I'll get to that when I get to that, eventually. And finally, the main event: Michael Elgin versus TJP, who is being covered by Falaba. And this was a good match. Now, it wasn't better than the match that they had from Victory Road from Impact Plus, but this ends up being pretty good either way. And in the end, Michael Elgin gets the win over TJP, just like he did from Impact on Impact Plus Victory Road. After the match, we go outside where Mrs. Santos is on the phone with her mom. She's going to post bail for her husband, Brian Cage. Also, Sami Callihan shows up and tells, basically takes the phone away from Mrs. Santos and tells Mrs. Santos' mom that everything's good and that she and Cage are in good hands. So Callihan basically let Mr. Santos know that it was an accident, but at the same time, he says he really feel really good about what he did to Mr. Santos. So basically, he was not really sorry about what he did. So, and I was saying to myself, what was the point of him doing that? The whole thing where he's got to address his public his public apology of what he did to Mrs. Santos, even though it was an accident. Whatever. But anyways, talking about wrestling for Impact Wrestling, the show from October 4th, 2019. Let me just double check here. So far, we got 3 here. Oh yeah, that Johnny Swinger bullshit. Oh yeah, and that Kenny Candlestick bullshit too. So that's 5 matches. And 2 I was not entertained with. And that's it, 5 matches. And my overall strength for the show, despite, there were a few good matches, but there were things that I didn't like about the show, and I wasn't feeling the show at that point. Especially when it pertains to Kenny. The Kennels getting TV time more than Killer Kross is getting TV time. 3 out of 10. And with that being said, thank you all for watching for It's Natural Born Thriller, saying peace on the streets. For this was your Impact Wrestling review. The show from October 4th, 2019. Until next time, we're returning to this Impact Wrestling review. Take care.